Guys, welcome back to another video. So we're living very interesting times, man. Very interesting times. You're seeing a rising number of unemployed doctors. It's a very interesting thing to see. It's something that I think I've been seeing from last year, and I have been trying to avoid it. But yeah, every year it's rising. So yeah, let's just be reacting to this video. Let's see what they have for us.
Unemployed doctors in KwaZulu-Natal are appealing to government to hire them over any of their overseas counterparts. A group of unemployed doctors have marched to the provincial offices of the Health Department in Pietermaritzburg. Last week, Health Minister Dr. Joe Phaahla cited budgetary constraints as the reason for the placement challenges.
Whoever knew that you'd see doctors protest in South Africa? I think about 3 years back, I was speaking with some of my colleagues and I was telling them it's really time we started getting involved within politics, right? Because the government doing well is actually our last line of defense. So if government feels we're not gonna have jobs, right? Because as soon as we're done here, we have to be employed by the government. The more the government fails, the more our jobs are threatened. And I remember the answer that I was given at the time was, hey, Chief, we come from a good university, where they give us more clinical time compared to other universities. It's like, even that's the case, the problem here is not that you're not going to be needed, because there is a shortage of doctors, but the problem is that there isn't going to be money to pay the doctors. So here we are, qualified doctor after so many years of studying. This is scary, man. This looks scary to see or to think about things you have to go through to be at this point, only to come back and protest in the streets. Yeah. Let's see.
These qualified medical doctors cannot find posts in public health care. Since January last year, the number of unemployed doctors has risen. Dr. Nombuso Phehle, who has been unemployed since December, says while health facilities are struggling with the high patient volumes, doctors are sitting at home.
The doctor-to-patient ratio is far from what WHO recommends, which is 1 to 1,000 patients. Currently, our colleagues have told me that we are sitting at 1 to 3,000 patients. So we are here, we are available. We are available to work in rural areas. We are available to work anywhere in the country. We love our communities. We want to work for our communities and with our communities.
Unemployed doctors are calling for government to give locals first preference over foreign doctors.
The 200 somewhat posts that they make available is, first of all, not going to be enough for all of us to get a job. Secondly, all of the posts that are currently being advertised are advertised according to employment equity targets. So not everybody is given the same opportunity when applying for those posts. The other thing is bursary holders. There's a lot of bursary holders who are given first preference because of the debt that they have to the government.
The Health Department says among the issues related to the employment of doctors is the budget constraints.
So we then improved and asked the universities to improve their intakes. Number two, we also sent a bigger number of students to Cuba to train. To date, we have an exit of 2,400 medical students as doctors every year, which therefore tells you that there's a very positive story on what we are doing. We were actually anticipating that there would be a fiscal improvement on that regard, and hence you are seeing this for the first time in this magnitude this year.
Dr. Dlomo says the department is working on finding a solution to this placement challenge. I'm Notleane Pamakwaza for SABC News in Pietermaritzburg.
For more on this, we're now joined by South African Medical Association Trade Union Deputy President, Dr. Nkateko Mnisi, and she joins us via our video link. Dr. Nkateko, thank you so much for joining us this evening here on SABC News. One would just begin and say this is a very bizarre phenomenon taking place in South Africa, where we have doctors who are unemployed.
Good evening, Mbali, and all listeners of today's late edition. Indeed, Mbali, we find ourselves in a huge conundrum. One where we have hundreds, in fact, almost 1,000 in our records, more than 800 doctors throughout the country that are currently unemployed. While us who are currently employed in the public healthcare sector find ourselves being overburdened with high vacancy rates throughout the country. And the reality is this, health is not a privilege, it's something that is a basic human right. And our community really does deserve healthcare workers and to be at the best capacity in which they can be.
And Nkateko, one would say that, this is definitely an imbalance taking place here, where universities are churning out so many doctors, but they're finding it very difficult to be placed in our hospitals.
So ourselves as the Medical Association Trade Union, SAMATU, an organization and a trade union that represents doctors throughout the country. And we unite them in order to advocate and to allow and empower our community to have quality healthcare services. And the reality is currently as it is, more than 80% of our country currently relies on the public healthcare system, on public healthcare institutions in all corners of the country, in rural areas, in urban areas, all together. And here we are in a conundrum when hundreds of doctors and other healthcare workers are currently unemployed and wanting and willing to serve the country, both in rural areas and urban areas, and wanting to really be here to serve the community. And when we find ourselves...
Yeah, no. This is scary. This is very scary. So we are seeing that in the hospitals that they are burdened. They are actually very burdened. Recently it happened that that the doctors were kind of telling us that they are short-staffed, and since we are student interns, we are supposed to come into the hospital unplanned to try and help out because they are short-staffed. You hear such things when it's scary, man. You think about what it took for some of us to be here, how it's gonna be as soon as we finished here, and you're looking at the fact that we don't even be employed. Up until now, I thought that because back in the day they were telling us that doctors are unemployed because a lot of people aren't willing to move into the rural areas, right? But here you find doctors saying, "Hey chief, put us anyway. We are ready to work." There's this doctor I was working with recently, working very, very well, man, very well with this doctor. And we get to speaking because, yeah, we get to speaking, and she tells me a story of how she's a post-comserve doctor who is unemployed and currently working voluntarily. That sounded scary, right? So you know that as soon as you're a student, after you finish being a student, you have to be a medical intern for 2 years. And after 2 years, you have to then do ComServe for 1 year, and then you're free to go work. This doctor has done his 2 years of internship and has done her 1 year, of ComServe. And she finished her ComServe in 2022. 2023, she's supposed to be post-ComServe, and from the beginning of 2023 until now, 2024, she is unemployed. And she's currently at the hospital working voluntarily. Some stories you hear them and we have been ignoring this for a long time, and it's it has now come upon us. It's one of the things that are on our minds. What's gonna happen? In fact, one of the reasons that one of the things we're hearing that are gonna happen soon is that they're gonna cancel ComServe now. It means that it's gonna only be 2 years, and then after 2 years, you must make a plan where you're going. So it's really time that we start exploring options of what to do as soon as we are post-ComServe doctors, or as it's about to be post-internship doctors. So that's what we have to start looking into. And one of the things we are advised to do is to truly save up during our internship years. Someone was telling me that, and we were actually discussing that, and when we started this degree, we were thinking, as soon as we're done, man, we're gonna be driving BMWs and things like that. Hey, now we're looking into some interesting options going forward. But I do believe that we will be okay. I do believe that. I don't know what plan is gonna happen. I don't know how government is going to solve this. But yeah, all we can do now is hope for the best and learn more, learn what other options can be done. Maybe some of the things we have to start looking into now is the processes of doctors moving to other countries. Something I never really wanted, because there's a lot I still want to do in SA, but it's not a bad thing to do anymore, looking at what's happening. So yeah, let me cut it. You guys enjoyed the video.